Oh, yes, I'm not in a big hurry. It seems that no one understands what the laws require, and you said it was lawful to take my sons without me receiving any due process because you were saying I was crazy for not understanding my civil rights. The problem is that you're spending federal money that's costing the rest of the world. And I think the rest of the world does have something to say about the United States Treasury. I mean, who's going to buy the debt? Now, I know you would say, well, the Japanese will buy it, the Chinese, the Russians, pooch. But when the United States of America doesn't faithfully execute the laws of the United States, I think that you're intentionally causing the credit rating of the United States to diminish. Now, so hinders the execution of the laws of that state and of the United States within the state. Yeah. That any part or class of its people is deprived of a right, privilege, or immunity. Yes. Or the protections named in the Constitution. And secured by law and the constituted authorities of that state are unable. That would be the executive branch of the state of Washington right now. The Attorney General, the Secretary of State. Yes. Now, I told you that this election was against the law because I had informed you that my rights are being violated, and you said, well, we're going to fail to enforce the actual laws in the United States. I'm starting to slobber to protect that right, the privilege or the immunity, and give that protection. Yeah. Now, I sent those emails documenting that you're opposing or obstructing the execution of the laws of the United States and you're impeding the course of justice under those laws. I had mentioned the 2 to 4 million lawsuits that I think I have the legal right to file, and when you obstruct justice and you impede the course of justice because you just won't remove your court orders, I'm going to sue every state legislature for having the knowledge that this state refuses to acknowledge, yes, the requirements of the law. Pooch. Now, I know you're a state legislature. You're saying, well, our budgets include the federal money that you no longer receive because I decided to sue the federal government for any knowledge that they have of not actually enforcing the Constitution. And my thought was, well, let's just not borrow any money at all. And, oh, would it shut down the government? Oh, is that inclusive of the United States military? I mean, all those soldiers and the seamen that are employed in the United States military, the land and naval forces, we don't need them. We could buy the whole fucking thing right now. Now, I know you're an employee of the state or you're an employee of the federal government. You're like, oh my gosh, where am I going to get my paycheck? But what happens when the military no longer has any money because you refuse to enforce the laws? See, these lawsuits that I keep documenting, yes, I think it's a crime, yes, for the state or federal employees to not enforce the rights of citizens because it affects the actual employment of the military. Now, how many generals and admirals would be upset that they'd have to tell the employees of the land and naval forces, I'm sorry, you're not going to work today because nobody would enforce the fucking laws of the United States? Now, I told you you wanted to get a job in the military, but we're no longer able to recruit. There's no volunteering. We can't offer you a fucking thing because the army